اوكي. السلام عليكم، كل عام وانتم بخير.
أنت بخير دكتور.
شو اخباركم؟ اوكي. طبعا before I read we talked about verbs adjectives. شو يعني verbs adjectives؟ What do you mean by verbs adjectives؟ ها؟ طب من الاسم verbless، what do you mean by verbless يعني؟ ها؟ يعني adjectives without ايش؟ without verbs. Adjectives without verbs. When we use adjectives, we use verbs. For example, we say, I am nervous. I am nervous. والverb هنا I'm nervous. إذا هنا I'm nervous عبارة عن إيش؟ verb adjective. يعني verbal. لما نقول مثلا nervous the man opened the letter صارت إيش؟ verbless adjective. يعني لما نقول nervous the man opened هون إيش؟ نسميه verbless adjective. يعني without a verb. Without a verb. So the adjective here refers to what the subject without explicit reference to the action. So the characterization of is only temporary in its application. But if an explicit time indicator is introduced, the application of the adjective is extended in time. For example, when we insert always, always nervous, the man opened the letter. When the man's nervousness becomes a permanent characteristics. ليش؟ Because of always. يعني is not connected with action. لما نقول always nervous يعني he is all the time nervous. Okay? فنعتبرها عبارة عن ايش؟ permanent characteristic. Permanent يعني forever characteristic. Is not related to a time or action. Always nervous. The man opened the letter. When always أعطت إيش permanent characteristic of nervousness. Then always nervous العبارة برضو nervous هنا إيش verbless adjective without verb. So when the implied subject is the whole clause, a corresponding verb can replace the adjective with little or no difference in meaning. مثلا strangely هذا طبعا adverb strangely برضو هاي strangely it was she who initiated divorce proceedings. إذا الأدفيرب هنا we use adverb strangely طبعا الهول clause هو it was she who initiated discover proceeding هاي correspond to the adverb strangely. Okay. بينما الadjective here it's not like the adverb. It allows ايش that أو how clause to follow. Strange that it turned out that way or strange how she will like some. هنا إذا الadverb when we use the adverb here as you see. So this is what implied by the whole clause. So it was who initiated divorce proceeding. In هنا الadverb can replace the adjective without difference in meaning. Okay. When we use the adjective here strange, it is what it allows to use that or how clause. Then when we use the adjective here, we should use that or how clause. Okay. Right. This is about verbs adjectives. Any question about verbs adjectives؟ هل هذا سؤال؟ طيب ننتقل ل contingent adjective clause. contingent adjective clause. شو يعني contingent adjective clause؟ طبعا it describe circumstances أو condition under which what is said in the subordinate clause applies. Often is what a subordinator is what is used, but can be omitted. For example, enthusiastic, they make good students. فهي أصلا يعني when enthusiastic they make good students. Whether right or wrong, he always comes off worse in argument because of his inability to speak coherently. When right, these apples are sweet. هذول نقدر نعتبرهم ايش؟ contingent clause. شو يعني contingent clause أو adjective clause؟ Express the circumstances or conditions under which what is said in the subordinate clause applies. يعني هون لما نقول they make good students refers to ايش؟ when they are enthusiastic. برضه هنا he always comes off worse in argument because of his inability to speak coherently. برضه ايش؟ it comes under the condition of what? Of whether right or wrong. برضه this clause, these apples are sweet. برضه they express the condition which is when right under which it is said. برضه هو كمان نفس الشيء. enthusiastic, right or wrong, right كلهم برضه adjectives. What kind of adjectives؟ نسميهم verbless adjectives. verbless adjectives. بس هذول عبارة عن contingent adjectives. ليش contingent؟ لأنهم ايش؟ related by or to circumstances أو conditions under which what is said here in the clause applies. زي ما قلنا قبل شوي إنه they make good students. هاي برضه it what comes under the condition enthusiastic. And this they make good students describe the situation which is what our condition lay enthusiastic. So the implied subject of the contingent adjective clause is the subject of the subordinate clause. Then the implied subject of the contingent adjective clause بكون عاد ايش؟ is the subject of the subordinate clause. مثلا enthusiastic they make good students. When subject here they. طبعا they subject للverbs adjective here enthusiastic subject للsentence. enthusiastic who are enthusiastic? they. نفس الشيء. Whether right or wrong he. Then subject here is what? he. Then he is the subject what? Of the subordinate clause. برضه when ripe these apples. When subject these apples. برضه ايش؟ subject of the what? Of the sentence. ممكن كمان يكون عندنا object. اوكي؟ ممكن يكون contingent object. مثلا you can drink it hot. طبعا it object hot adjective. إذا contingent adjective they hot تيجي هون object. Okay. You can drink it hot. You must eat it when fresh. نفس الشيء when fresh. برضه هنا ايش؟ implied object of the contingent adjective here is what? Is object. You must eat it when it's fresh. هنا eat طبعا it عبارة عن ايش؟ object. when fresh برضه عبارة عن adjective contingent adjective. طبعا هنا contingent verbless adjective يعني without a verb. Okay. So the adjective then usually comes finally and could be regarded as complement. The implied subject can be the whole of this one clause. If it is possible, the dog should be washed every day. وين السبجكت here؟ لو الهول close هو ايش؟ the dog should be washed every day. إذا هنا نقدر نستخدم هنا if مع subject verb أو without subject verb. We can say if it's possible أو إذا عندنا هنا بنعملها verb adjective فبنقول if possible without it else is. Okay. إذا الامplied subject هنا السنتنس اللي هو عبارة عن ايش؟ the whole of the subordinate clause. The dog should be washed every day. Okay, and this is what the implied subject of the whole is subordinate clause. Okay, this is what the end of what verbs adjectives. Any question about verbs adjectives? Verbs adjectives. Right. Now we'll be talking about exclamatory adjective sentences. The adjective as a head of an adjective phrase or so realization can be an exclamation. How good of you? How good of you? طبعا وين الادجكتيف here good. طبعا هذا الادجكتيف يعتبر ايش؟ head للادجكتيف phrase. How wonderful برضه هو عندنا how good of you how wonderful وكلهم عبارة عن exclamatory adjective sentences. Exclamatory adjective sentences. And how good of you. طبعا برضه فيش عندنا هنا we don't have verb here. How good of you. Okay. طيب. هاي بالنسبة لليش؟ exclamatory adjective sentences. Now we'll be talking about another topic له syntactic subclassification of adjectives. Syntactic subclassification of adjectives. نشوف السنتاكس يعني structural subclassification. يعني نقدر نقول adjectives can be subclassified according to their function. أول شيء في عندنا قلنا الفانكشن attributive and predicative تذكروا حكينا عنها. مثلا قلنا a hungry man عبارة عن attributive the hungry man. The adjectives comes before the noun. The man is hungry هون a predicative لأنه الادجكتيف أجا وين؟ بالpredicate part of the sentence اللي هو is. Okay. إذا ممكن تكون adjective both attributive and predicative at the same time. نقول a hungry man هي عبارة عن attributive أو attributive أو predicative نقول the man is hungry. Okay. ممكن تيجي adjectives attributive only. مثلا نقول utter fool but we cannot say the fool is utter. Okay. لأنها تيجي adjective هنا بس only attributive. يعني you cannot make it إيش؟ predicative. يعني ممكن برضو adjective comes only predicative. زي ما نقول a loath man we cannot say a loath man. نقول the woman sorry a loath woman but we can say the woman is loath but we cannot say إيش؟ a loath woman. إذا هنا في عندنا syntactic classifications of adjectives. في عندنا 3 types of adjectives. في عندنا ممكن يكون adjective both attributive و predicative. ممكن يكون only attributive. ممكن يكون only إيش؟ predicative. Okay. Then we know that the sub-classification of what of adjectives. إذا في عندنا 3 classifications of adjectives. Both attributive and predicative. Only predicative, only attributive. Now let's talk about each of them in details. هنشوف now attributive only. طبعا جاء adjectives that are restricted to attributive position أو occur predominantly in attributive position do not characterize the referent of the noun directly. مثلا an old friend شو معناته يعني one who has been a friend for a long period of time. Okay. لما نقول مثلا this is my old friend هنا معناته انه this friend is what a friend of you for a long period of time. طبعا هاي does not mean or imply ان ال person is old. يعني لما نقول old friend مش معنى ال person يعني is old in age. So we cannot relate my old friend. يعني نقدر نقول انه my old friend نفسه my friend is old. لأن two here are different in meaning. إذا we cannot relate my old friend اللي هو my friend for a long time with my old friend my friend is old اللي هو he is what he is old in age. Okay. إذا old الأولى my old friend refers to friendship. نفس الوقت ما بتعطي المعنى does not characterize the person that is old. إذا بالحالة هاي إذا بنقصد إنه an old friend إنه friend for a long time بتكون هون عندنا إيش attributive. نستخدم بس إيش attributive. نقول an old friend. نقدر نقول the friend is old. لأن هون الجملة إيش different meaning is different. When we use it إيش predicatively. Okay. On the other hand, that old man, old is what? Central adjective. The opposite of young. And you can relate that old man to that man is old. Okay. يعني with that old man نفسها ايش؟ اللي هي عبارة عن attributive نقدر نعمل relation لها مع ايش؟ that man is old لأنه predicative use. بينما الأولى نقول an old friend is not the same إنه my friend is old. Okay. هاي هون بالحالة هاي نقدر نعتبر الادجكتيف هنا ايش؟ attributive. يعني it is what is just used attributively. Attributively. Okay. Adjectives that characterize the referent of the noun directly are termed inherent. وذات do not characterize نسميها non-inherent. إذا عندنا some non-inherent adjectives occur predicatively also. For example, new student and a new friend are non-inherent. A new student و new friend ايش are مالهم are non-inherent. يعني لو نقول a new student نقدر نقول the student is new. The student is new. بينما new friend here we cannot say my friend is new. Okay. إذا هنا a new student و a new friend both of them are ايش non-inherent. بالرغم ان الاولى can be used predicatively ليه that student is new. But we cannot say my friend is new. Okay. يعني نقدر نقول my new friend but not my friend is new. يعني شو بنسمي طبعا non-inherent. يعني we can use the first way but not the second way. برضه في عندنا other adjectives are restricted to attributive position. مثلا you poor man, my dear lady, that rich woman. إذا هنا poor man و dear lady و rich woman هاي كلها عبارة عن attributive. They are used here, adjectives are used only attributively. Only attributively. Okay. Okay, any question about attributive adjectives only? Any question? Or inherent and non-inherent adjectives? Okay. Now we be talking about another topic, which is intensifying adjectives. Intensifying adjectives. You know, some adjectives have what? A heightening or lowering effect on the noun. They are modified. So two semantic subclasses of intensifying adjectives can be distinguished for our present term. Number one, نسميه emphasizers والثاني شو بنسميه amplifiers. هو شو عبارة عن ايش بنسميهم؟ بنسميهم intensifying adjectives. إذا intensifying adjectives في عندنا two ايش؟ two types. يعني emphasizers والsecond ايش؟ amplifiers. شو الفرق بيناتهم؟ Emphasizers have general heightening. Emphasizers have general heightening effect. Amplifiers scale upward from an assumed norm, denoting the upper extreme of the scale or the high point on the scale. هذا ايش؟ الامبليفايرز. هنشوف examples بالemphasizers and amplifiers. Now, emphasizers are attributive only. إذا الemphasizer شو بيكون عادة؟ attributive only. For example, a certain winner. بس ما بنقدر نقول the winner is certain. An outright lie. We cannot say that the lie is outright. Pure fabrication. We can't say the fabrication is pure. Real hero. We cannot say the hero is real. يعني هذول adjectives لو emphasizer certain و outright و pure و real. These are used predicative attributively only. Attributively only. يعني they should be used before what? Before the noun. Amplifiers, second type of intensifying adjectives. يعني amplifiers عبارة عن central adjectives. Emit when they are inherent. مثلا a complete victory. نقدر نقول the victory was complete. يعني نستخدم attributive complete و predicative the victory was complete. Their extreme condemnation هاي برضه attributive. Their condemnation was extreme attributive. Sorry, predicative. Is gratefully attributive. His folly was a great predicative. إذا الامبليفايرز نسميهم برضه central adjectives. وthey can be used attributively and predicatively when they are inherent. When they are inherent. أما إذا كانوا non-inherent they are used attributive only. إذا when they are inherent they can be used what? As central adjectives. And they can be used as attributive and predicative. But when they are non-inherent, those amplifiers, they are only used, or they are used what? Attributively only. For example, a complete fool, but we cannot say the fool is complete. A perfect idiot, we cannot say the idiot is perfect. Okay? إذن هنا الامبليفايرز complete والبيرفكت هذول عبارة عن amplifiers. They are non-inherent or they are used what? Attributively only. And they cannot be used what? Predicatively as we see here in these examples. Okay. Other examples of amplifiers برضو use attributively only. Close friend, you cannot say friend is close. His entire salary, we can't say the salary is entire. Utter folly, we can't say the folly is utter. The very end, you can't say the end is very. A strong point, you can't say the point is strong. And so on. إذا هذول إيش؟ adjectives close, entire, utter, very, strong, great, والعبارة عن amplifiers that are used is only attributively. زي ما حكينا قبل شوي عن amplifiers بس بتكون inherent. Okay. Sorry, non-inherent. Several intensifiers have homonyms. برضه الهمز شو بنعتبرهم؟ central adjectives. مثلا those are real flowers. هون ايش؟ attributed. Those three of those are real or predicative. إذا في عندنا برضه several intensifiers زي real here. They are central adjectives. Okay. Certain intensifying adjectives are always attributive. مثلا near وشير وأثر. هذول intensifying adjectives always use what attributively. Many adjectives can be used as intensifiers with restrictions on the nouns they modify. مثلا great big foot معناته يعني very foolish. A great big baby very babyish معناته very babyish. A great friend but we cannot say a big friend. Okay. إذا في عندنا certain intensifying adjectives برضه always use attributively. حالات مثل near, sheer and utter. كمان برضه many adjectives can be used as intensifiers. يكونون في عندنا restrictions على nouns they modify. يعني نقول a great or big foot or big fool sorry معناته very foolish. A great big baby يعني very babyish. We can say a great friend attributive. We cannot say a big friend. يقول a great friend but not a big friend. لأنه a big one related to size. والgreat refers to other what? Characteristics. Okay. Any question about intensifying adjectives اللي هم emphasizers والamplifiers? Any question about them? عندكم أي سؤال؟ طيب. ننتقل للlimited adjectives. Limiter adjectives particularize the reference, the noun. مثلا the main reason, the only occasion, the precise reason, the same student. كان في عندنا المين هاي والonly والprecise والsame عبارة عن ايش؟ limiters أو limiter adjectives. Limiter adjectives. Now, can we use these limiter adjectives attributively? Predicatively? Yani can we say, for example, when we say can we say the reason is main? Then these limiter adjectives cannot be used predicatively. They are only used as attributive, but not predicative. Some of these have homonyms. مثلا certain in a certain person is a limiter. لو يعني تعني particular person. بينما certain in winner is intensifier. له sure winner. Okay. Even some of these adjectives adjectives have homonyms. مثلا certain in a certain person with certain person يعني هي عبارة عن ايش؟ limiter adjective. شو المعنى تبعها؟ انه a particular person. لما نقول certain winner مش معناها particular winner، معناتها ايش؟ هم تيجي intensifier معناتها sure winner. اوكي. إذا same word هنا certain in these two examples do not have the same meaning. مثلا example number 1 certain عبارة عن limiter. لما نقول ايش؟ certain person هاي limiter. لما نقول certain winner شو بصير؟ intensifier يعني sure winner. مثلا John is certain that he will win. طبعا is semantically ناحية المينينج related to the intensifier. يعني معناته انه ايش؟ John is sure that he will win. but it is equivalent to sure in the sense of confident and is limited to predicative position. Okay. إذا John is certain that he will win. عبارة عن semantically related to the intensifier. يعني it is equivalent or similar to sure. When you say John is certain, John is sure that he will win. يعني الحالة بيكون ايش؟ الادجكتيف بيكون is in a predicative position only. We can use adjective here, our limiter adjective what? In just predicative position only, not in what we call attributive position. Okay. Any question about limiter adjectives? إذا limiter adjectives نقدر نقول they are used attributively. Attributively. Some adjective, the limiter adjectives, have different meaning. Yeah, the same adjective has different meaning in two cases or situations. I'm going to certain winner, yani particular winner. Sorry, certain person, we're particular person. But when we say certain winner, يعني we mean that by that sure winner. يعني بالحالة الأولى بتكون عندنا عبارة عن limiter adjective. بينما بالسكند كيس بتكون ايش؟ intensifier. Any question about limiter adjectives? Okay. Now let's go to related to adverbials. In adjectives are related to adverbials. في عندنا other adjectives are attributive only. Are attributive only. بحالها بتكون can be related to adverbials. وبكون عادة non-inherent adjective or adjectives. Non-inherent adjectives. مثلا my former friend, formerly my friend. هنا طبعا former adjective related to that verb لو formerly. هنا former يعني adjective من هذا example here. بينما هنا formerly is an adverb. إذا هاي الادجكتيف here زي former تستخدم attributively only وكان related to ايش؟ to the adverb formerly. نقدر نعتبرها ايش؟ non-inherent adjective. Okay. An occasional visitor نفس الشيء an occasional visitor occasionally a visitor. برضو عندنا occasional كadjective used attributive only related to the adverb ايش؟ occasionally. Okay. هنا فعلا some adjectives are related to adverbs. Are related to adverbs. Some of them need implications additional to the adverb. The late president. Till lately the president. Till lately the president. Our president now is what? Dead. If the adjective pre-modified agentive noun, the latter suggests as well a relationship to the verb base. Now, hard worker عبارة عن ايش؟ في عندنا adjective hard وهي hard عبارة عن pre-modifying للnoun اللي هو الوركر الاجنتيف noun اللي هو worker. إذا hard كadjective pre-modify the agentive noun worker. شو يعني here؟ hard worker يعني a worker who works hard. A big eater نفس الشيء. big عبارة عن pre-modifying adjective للnoun اللي هو eater, which means that someone who eats a great deal. إذا a big eater means someone who eats a great deal. Okay. إذا في عندنا adjectives هنا pre-modifying agentive nouns. إذا هنا hard pre-modifying worker كagentive noun. big adjective pre-modify the agentive noun eater هون worker. فهنا برضو other examples where the noun normally lacks corresponding verb, but where the adjective refer to the possessed part of the noun's meaning. For example, an excellent pianist. هنا an excellent pianist هنا it is used attributively, but which means here a pianist who plays the piano excellently. إذن هنا lack of correspondence between or lack of correspondence with the verb when the adjective refers to the possessed part of a noun's meaning. يعني نقول a man who plays the piano excellently. فالadjectives هنا ايش؟ كانت verb طبعا اللي هو excellently. وأنا pianist مثلا excellent, an excellent pianist. What does it mean? يعني a pianist who plays the piano excellently. يعني هنا excellent refers to the process اللي فيها إنه the pianist plays the piano excellently. The implied process here can be associated with an animate object. زي مثلا a fast car. In an implied process هنا is associated with inanimate object. طبعا الانانيميت object هنا ايش؟ عن الكار. A fast car شو يعني fast car؟ يعني a car that one drives fast مش نفس fast. Okay. A fast road برضه road is not fast but a road in which one can drive fast. يعني هنا the implied process is associated with what? With an inanimate subject. اللي هو ايش؟ للرود وعندنا والكار. إذا الكار والرود are ايش؟ inanimate objects. Inanimate objects. So the implied process here, a car that one drives fast is associated with what? With what we call inanimate object اللي هو ايش؟ car and road. Here some of adjectives here have temporal meaning. مثلا acting. He is an acting chairman. And I, for the time being, is an acting chairman. Even this kind of adjective has temporal meaning. Yani it just lasts for short period of time. Okay. Any question about adjectives related to adverbs? To adverbials? Any question? Now, we'll be talking about other different topic, which is denominal adjectives. Denominal adjectives. Two denominal adjectives. Adjectives that are derived from nouns. And these are used attributively only. Okay. Examples. Criminal law. We cannot say the law is a criminal. إذن هون الadjective criminal derived من إيش؟ من النوع له crime. معناته law concerning crime. وين النوع crime؟ إذن criminal adjective derived from the noun crime. Okay. في الحالة هاي هنا it is just used attributively. An atomic scientist. يعني a scientist specializing in atomic science. برضو it's used what? attributively an atomic scientist. We can't say the science is atomic or what atomic. Medical school, نفس الشيء. A school for students of medicine. إذا هنا نقصد بالدينومينال يعني adjectives that are derived from noun. زي criminal مثلا from crime وatomic from atom medical from medicine. هذا بنسميهم ايش؟ denominal adjectives يعني adjectives that are derived from nouns. And these kind of adjectives are used only as attributively. And the same item may also be central adjective. For example, criminal law can be a law which seems criminal. ممكن criminal law إنه law نفسه which seems criminal. الحالة شو تكون criminal central adjective. إذا when we mean by criminal law إنه law seems to be criminal الادجكتيف هنا بكون criminal عبارة عن central adjective. For positional differences between these two in the adjective phrase with particular noun phrase heads, an attributive noun may be alternative to the dominant adjective. Criminal detection or crime or detection may be used exclusively as law school, not law school, not law school. In this case, when we use criminal detection or crime detection, this is used exclusively to mean law school, not legal school. برضه converse in medical school, not medicine school. In this case, these adjectives, general adjectives, they are used exclusively. Okay, when we say, for example, criminal detection or criminal or crime detection. وطبعا criminal adjective crime noun. زي law school برضه. Noun here law school. But we don't say legal school. نفس الشيء. نقدر نقول medical school but not medicine school. Okay, not medicine school. And these are adjectives that are used attributively only. شو هم adjectives that are used attributively only؟ ها؟ في عندنا هنا حكينا عنهم. Those who do not characterize the referent of the noun directly. حكينا برضه عن inherent والinherent. برضه intensifying adjectives. حكينا emphasizers amplifiers. برضه حكينا عن limiter adjectives. وبعدين عن adjectives related to adverbials or similar to adverbials. حكينا عن برضه عن dominant adjectives. Okay. كلهم ايش؟ These adjectives are used what? Attributively only, attributively. Any question about adjectives that are used attributively? Any question? Okay. The another adjectives that are used predicatively only. Adjectives that are restricted to predicative position are most like verbs and adverbs. Even the adjectives that are restricted or usually restricted to predicative position مالهم are most likely verbs or adverbs. They tend to refer to possibly temporal condition rather than to characterize. The most common are those referring to health or lack of health. Even the predicative adjectives are restricted, or some adjectives are restricted to predicative position only, and they are most of them are verbs and adverbs. For example, here, the most common of them are referring to health or lack of health. They tend to ill, will or unwell. Some people use ill and unwell as attributive to. في بعض people use ill and unwell as attributive to. Then ill people or unwell person. A large group of adjectives take complementation. مثلا afraid, that, or afraid of, or afraid about. يعني برضه conscious, that, أو of, وكأنه fond of, ولوث to. Okay. إذن عندنا large group of adjectives take complementation. نقول مثلا afraid that، وأنا نكمل الجملة. مثلا he is afraid that he will not be able to come. يعني فعلا complementation يعني. أو نقول he is afraid مثلا of spiders. والله complementation. مثلا he is afraid about مثلا going in darkness. برضه هاي إيش؟ complementation. يعني برضه الadjective conscious برضه that مو فعلا conscious of. يعمل برضه another adjective زي fond of. فعلا برضه another adjective loath to. طبعا هذه these الو السلام عليكم. نعم. مين؟ لا هو شيء بس. اوكي. في شباب يستلمون شيء بس. Well, that's enough possible. Okay. الو